Hello and welcome to another entry of the Diary of an Early Years Educator. Happy Monday. Welcome back to a fresh week, another week of podcasts with us. It is absolutely freezing today when I am filming. I am literally got my blanket on me today. Autumn has finally hit, but this is my favourite kind of autumn day where it's like bright sunshine but crispy and cold. So it's my favourite time of year. Got my Ugg boots back out, so I am very happy with that. Starting off as always, with my weekly reflection. So every Monday episode, I do my weekly reflections of what's gone well and things like that. So what's gone well this week? I'm not really sure, but it must have been a productive week because it has gone so fast. Like this week has flown by. I can't even remember Monday and Tuesday really. I've been here, there and everywhere. I got my nails done on Monday and it literally feels like it was 3 weeks ago. So it must have been a productive week because it has just flown, or I've been very busy. So that is my what's gone well. What I'll continue to work on this week is a personal one actually. And it is holding myself accountable for exercise. I always say I'm going to do more, always going to say I'm going to be better. And I need to start holding myself accountable. Me and Rachel are going to be holding each other accountable over the next few months as well. So that's something I want to keep working on. And then something I'm leaving behind this week is hormones. Now I know technically I can't leave hormones behind, but that is what I want to leave in this week is hormones, emotions all over the place. And it's kind of inspired the topic that I want to talk about today. I kind of want to talk about dealing with our own emotions, how we deal with emotions, and how difficult it can be to deal with your own emotions when you're in an early years environment, because you're not only dealing with your own emotions, you're dealing with the children's big emotions, colleagues' emotions, parents' emotions, everyone's emotions, and it can be really difficult. Now, in the position I'm in at the moment, I'm not in with the children every day. Obviously, I do go in and deal with the children, so it's not as though I'm never around the children anymore. But on the day-to-day, I mainly deal with adults. And I sometimes think that dealing with adults' emotions is just as difficult as dealing with children's emotions. And it's really hard to sometimes deal with things in a specific way that's right for the individual. So everyone expresses emotions differently. For me, if like I've said it before, I'm a crier. I cry all the time, and I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not afraid to say that. I express our emotions like that. Some people get snappy. Some people, you can read their emotions on their face like a book. Some people just go really quiet and introverted. Everyone expresses their emotions differently. When you start to have a working relationship with people, you understand their cues, you understand how they express themselves and what's going to work well for them to talk about it, move forward from it, ignore it for the day, whatever it's going to be. And I find it really interesting to think about that because with adults and dealing with adults' emotions, sometimes we don't think about our own emotions when we're dealing with someone else's. And I think that's something that I struggle with, is that whatever I'm feeling matters as well as what everyone else is feeling. And sometimes we have to accept we're in the wrong. Sometimes other people have to accept they're in the wrong, and it's fine. But I think sometimes as an adult, and especially in a business or in an environment, a working environment, if you're in a leadership position, sometimes others don't think that your feelings matter. And that's it's a really weird thing to think about, because some of our nursery managers are, like me, totally emotional in the sense that they show all their emotions and are not afraid to show their emotions. But I have to remind them that they are a human being with real emotions and real feelings too. And if somebody upsets them or speaks to them in a way that they'd be mortified if they were spoken to like that, it's okay to call them out on it. It's okay to say, that was not okay. The way you spoke to me made me feel like this, or what you did made me feel like this. Because we are all human beings with all valid emotions. So that I think is the first thing of everyone expresses things differently. And in a working environment, you should be okay to express yourselves in a professional way. So even if someone's having the worst day in the world, they still don't have the right to shout at you or be nasty to you. That's not okay. But when it comes to children's emotions, one of the hardest things for educators in early years is sometimes we have to hide our own emotions for the sake of the children. Now, it's totally okay for children to learn that everyone has emotions, and those angry feelings and those sad feelings and those confused feelings that they feel, adults feel too. So it does make them more normal, makes it okay to feel that way. Oh, okay, I feel this way and you feel that way. So it must be safe to feel this way. But it's how we express ourselves and how what we do or how we feel should not affect how we deal with the children. Because we're dealing with their emotions as well as our own. And their big emotions are often a lot more confusing for them than ours will ever be. And they don't understand why they feel that way. They struggle to express themselves and talk through it and tell you what's wrong. And if they can, then fantastic. But if they can't, it's our job to safely and securely help them through it. And sometimes it's understanding that they can't help it. They can't help that they're feeling so angry and they don't know what to do about it. So not punishing them for it, I think is the wrong word. We can explain how difficult it is to deal with those emotions, but it's also, we have to think about how difficult it is for them to deal with those emotions. If a child is upset and having a moment of not knowing how to deal with their emotions, it's difficult for us to read because we don't know what we can do to help. But it's also really difficult for them. So that is something that we need to think about, and we need to be more sort of hot onto, that actually a child doesn't need us to comment on their behaviour to others to say how hard it was, because doing it in front of them, they're going to hear that. Whereas doing it afterwards or with a parent to say, look, we had a moment today, we really struggled with how to calm emotions down, etc., but not in front of the child, because that will begin that internal shame of how they're feeling from a very young age. But often for us as adults, being around the children can be the biggest form of distraction. They don't know what's going on in your personal life. They don't need to know what's going on in your personal life. They just are there. They love to see you. They want to play with you. They want to be in your company. And it is just the nicest distraction. So sometimes, actually, when you've got all your emotions going on your personal level, sometimes being in an environment with the children is the best medicine for it, because they help you to feel a little bit more calm and a little bit more distracted. And then when you get back in your car, reality hits again. So it's just a case of making sure that we are able to be professional and move forward in a working environment, even when our emotions are all over the place. And majority of early years environments are female heavy. They can be very female-led environments, and that causes all sorts of emotions in itself. As a woman, it is so difficult with our hormones every month, all over the place. I know at what point in my cycle I'm in due to how emotional I feel, and that is just the reality of it. I cry every single month the day before my period without fail, and I just know that it's coming because of that emotional reaction to whatever's going on inside my brain. So it's hard sometimes to be in an environment like ours because they're very female run and emotions are high, and often we know reality of it is that everyone's cycles sync up and emotions are heavy all the time. So it's just how we deal with those and how we focus on our own emotions as well as others. Because the weight of your own emotions can often feel like the weight of the world on your shoulders. And if you've not got anyone to talk to about that, whether that's professionally or personally, it can get really, really difficult. And if you work with people often enough and you're close with them, they will know your like your ticks of what is making you're not yourself, I think is what I'm trying to say. They will know if you are not yourself. They'll know if you're a little bit quieter or if you're a bit snappier, like I said before. So when the weight of the world feels like it's on your shoulders, you can share that with someone else. Obviously not in front of the children in an early years environment, but being able to talk to a colleague before the start of the day and just saying, I'm having a bit of a rough day. I'm not really emotionally with it today. So if I'm a bit quieter, that's what it is. I don't need everybody asking me every 5 minutes if I'm okay. And that is something that's really quite brave to do, but also necessary for yourself and for everybody else around you. Because I hate being asked if I'm okay if I'm not feeling okay, because as soon as someone asks you that, I just want to cry. And I'd rather everybody know, like, I'm just not feeling it today, guys. I'm going to be a bit quieter. That's it. And if you've got time to do that with others and you've got the team around you to do that, it's really important to do so, because everybody then knows how they can support you and what you need support with. Or if you just want to be treated like every day as normal, let's crack on, then they can do that too. Dealing with your own emotions is something that you have to let yourself do, and take the time to deal it. Taking the time to deal with your own emotions is really, really important. It's really hard when you don't have anyone to talk to about how you feel. And it's really hard when you feel like you have no one to talk to. And there's obviously different avenues that you can go to support your mental health. And it might not even be mental health. It might just be that your hormones and things that are going on around you are affecting the way you feel. And that's totally okay. And there's different avenues and there's different things that you can do with medical professionals, with therapists and things. And it's not a bad thing to talk about your emotions. And that is, I think, really important. And I think it's something as a society we're getting an awful lot better at. Being able to discuss how you feel isn't a negative. And being able to express yourselves is a good thing. But there's also a way of doing it. Just because you are having a bad day, it doesn't mean you have the right to make someone else have a bad day too. And the way you talk to people and the way that you conduct yourself always matters. And yes, it might be hard. And yes, it might be really difficult to not bite back at someone. You don't know what they're going through just as much as they don't know what you're going through. So kindness, I think, is the only way forward with that. There's no need to be on the other side of that. I hope that makes sense. But what is it that you do to deal with your own emotions and deal with others' emotions? What is your form of self-care? Do you like to go for a long walk? Do you like to read a book? Do you like to have a bubble bath? Do you like to do baking? What is it? And from this week, I think I wanted to kind of listen to what everyone else has to say. And if there is anything that you do that makes you feel good, sharing that with others might just give them an outlet that they hadn't thought about. So let us know on social media what it is that you do to make yourself take time for yourself and to have a little bit of self-care, because the emotions of an early years environment are tough enough as it is, as well as everyone having their own personal things going on, because we all have lives outside of those early years buildings. Dealing with the emotions that sit heavy from families can also be really tough. You take on the emotions of a family that are not related to you. You feel those emotions, you care for them, you love children that are not yours, not bonded to you in any other way other than that you care for them in the setting. But that is how strong early years educators feel and care for the children and the families in their care. So what is it you do to look after yourself? That is what I want you to think about this week. Because I do think it's really important to think about ourselves. And with World Mental Health Day, I believe it's this week. Let me have a little look. Is it this week or is it next week? World Mental Health Day. Thursday the 10th. It is Thursday the 10th. So that is this Thursday. So there we go. The topic for this week is something to think about. I knew it was coming up. I wanted to say it was the 13th, but I don't know why. But yes, Thursday the 10th is World Mental Health Day. So I think it's important to reflect on what you do for yourself. Let's all talk about it and let us know in the comments on social media what it is that you do to look after yourself and others around you. That's all I've really got today. It's kind of, this week for me, it has been really emotional, but that is, I know why. It is just my hormones playing tricks on me, and that's fine. I deal with it. I have a little cry, eat loads of chocolate, and that is how I cope with things. I also do things to make me feel good. I enjoy walking my dogs. I enjoy going to the gym, and that's why I want to hold myself a little bit more accountable. And I'm going to see McFly next week. Well, this week for you guys on World Mental Health Day. What a fabulous way to spend World Mental Health Day than watching McFly with my sister. Now that is going to be good for my mental health. I'm going to feel great. So yeah, if there's anything that you do, it's a good thing to share those tips with everybody else and let us know. I hope you've had a lovely weekend. I hope that the weather stays lovely for us and we get some more crisp autumnal days. Have a fabulous week, and I will be back with you on Friday for another entry of the Diary of an Early Years Educator. On Wednesday, you'll get an episode of the Little Minds, Big Ideas podcast with myself and Ben. And I believe there is a brand new class, hopefully, as I'm saying this, it has been uploaded, another strategy class from me around group times. It's about knowing your audience in group times and how you can tailor different things that you do to specific children in your care. And there's also resources on the website alongside the class with help that you can do, tips and tricks in there as well. So check it out if you haven't already. It's www.theearlyearsnetwork.co.uk. Subscription is £4.99 a month. That's it. And you get all the classes on there. And there's loads to learn, loads to do, loads to reflect on. So yeah, enjoy. Have a fabulous week. Look after yourself. Look after the people around you. And I will see you again later in the week. Bye.